Guess who's back again. Salvy's back with Quinn.
Yes, we are, man.
I'm back.
It feels so good to be back. Oh my god, I missed this. I missed us.
I'm back after 47 days out of the country.
That makes it sound even longer, honestly.
I visited 10 countries and I bear gifts. First of
all. Oh shit!
I was in Italy for 10 days, visited a ton of different countries or cities. So
okay.
Okay, we'll
we're turning on.
We're gonna have a
first-person camera. Here it is in all its glory.
Next up, the last place I visited was Lisbon.
Yo!
It's another magnet for the kid.
I like that one's nice and tall. Reminds me of me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
this
one screams Quinn.
My boy. And then finally in Marseille, where is also where I got sick. I got sick in Marseille for 2 days, and I'm still kind of feeling the end of that. If you could tell, I got you.
Whoa!
A classic.
Oh my
Marseille
goodness!
Style coaster.
I've been needing a new coaster because that one over there
cracked.
It's been cracked.
And I was like, when we hang out, I always don't put. I mean,
you never use a coaster.
I never use a coaster. So
it won't be loud on the mic at all.
So there we go.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yo, thank you so much.
No problem.
I appreciate that.
For this first episode back, happy Sunday, everybody. And before the back to regularly scheduled Salvy and Quinn next week, I thought to do our first episode back. No gameplay today, viewers.
Whoa, that's
if
rare.
you can handle that. We will be doing a flip through.
Ooh, the reaction.
The live reaction of the journal I kept when I was in Europe. Now, it's unfinished because I just got back yesterday, so I was a couple days behind and I didn't have time to catch up. But I just thought I would show you guys where I'm at right now. Quinn's gonna film. Well, we've got the two cameras. Whoa.
That's you guys over there. Right there.
That's you guys. So here we go. This is the journal. I worked very hard on this. And
I had no idea you were doing something.
I had a
but
very
it doesn't shock me. That's very you thing to do.
I had a very clear vision on what I wanted this to be. And then for the field school, so the first 4 weeks was for field school through the university, and then the last 2.5 weeks was just me traveling around by myself. Almost 3 weeks. I was basically gone 7 weeks. And I wanted to keep a journal anyway. Like my plan was to keep a journal, and then they were like, "Oh, you guys are gonna be keeping a field journal throughout the course." And I was like, "Awesome! Like I'm gonna do that anyway." So I kind of just combined the journal that was gonna be like a diary-ish, just writing what I did, with the kind of like field notes, reflections that we had to do for the field school. So, opening page.
All the signatures
from
your group mates, I imagine.
So
I love you forever, bro. Hop off. You're getting a little too comfortable.
Then here is the title page.
Yeah.
European expedition with the
10.
Because I visited 10 countries.
Oh, clever.
Clever. And this is the order. So Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Vatican City, France, Spain, Portugal.
Here we go. You've got practice with those flags.
And here is the map. So the journey, the flight, so Victoria to Vancouver, Vancouver to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to Bergen. And then here was the plan. And I wrote the plan because it did change. So we started in Bergen, went to Oslo, Stockholm, Copenhagen, Hamburg and Lubeck. We stayed in Lubeck, then did a day trip to Hamburg. Munster, Freiburg. That was the field school.
Yeah.
Then Freiburg to Zurich, to Milan, Venice, Bologna, Rome. Day trip to Naples to visit Pompeii. So that could have been Naples and Pompeii down there. I kind of missed that. Then Vatican City, which is in Rome. Florence, Nice, Marseille, Montpellier, Barcelona, Madrid, Lisbon. This did change. I did not go to Montpellier. If we go to the next page.
Damn!
This is the
hype meter.
the hype meter. Everyone that I've ever shown this has laughed at the hype meter. They're like, "Oh my god, the hype meter!"
Is this how hyped you were to go
go to
there,
those places?
or like once you were there?
No, this is pre. So cities. So here's all the cities. No Hamburg and no Pompeii on here. I kind of just put Naples. And then Montpellier, which I did not end up going to. You can see the 1 star. That was because I had a 2-hour layover from being on a train in
Right.
Montpellier, and I was like, well, I guess I'll leave the station. So, but these are the dates I was in each city. That stayed the same because
Yeah.
I used this to set my my train schedule. So this is before we left. So I was still with you until the end of this.
This is like the stuff you told me about, then,
Yeah, so
meeting
this
the
is
mayor
in
and all that.
this is in Victoria, and then on day 3 we met the mayor. So I did her business card, their city hall, and the room I told you about where it's got like the fancy chairs and stuff. Then day 4 and then day 5 we did a bike around Vic West, and we went on top of Dockside Green, which is this development, and we went right on the roof and had a great view of the city. Then flew to Bergen. So this is all new to you. I had seen you, I think, on Saturday. So I'd seen you after day 5.
Right.
So then we went to Bergen. Bergen was absolutely beautiful. You get off the train, and there's this big Bergen with a question mark sign.
Yeah.
And we met the person later that designed that sign, which is cool. And then I'll throw up pictures. I'll show you pictures later if you want. But I'll throw up some pictures of what this is supposed to be. But this is the view from our hostel. We're up on this huge mountain, and like all of Bergen is down below us here with like bridges and stuff. And you can see like all the way to the Atlantic.
You're clean with it. Like, this is already very impressive. Okay.
Day 2, we met at this gazebo thing. We went to the university, the Bergen University, and then these are like the famous houses. They're kind of along like the old town of Bergen. If you look up pictures of Bergen, you'll get a lot of that. Then I found this beautiful little swing set right on the water with boats going by, which is gorgeous. And then scooters. There's scooters everywhere in Europe. And you can just rent them and then scooter around. It will hurt your hands because a lot of the streets you go over will be cobblestones. So
That does sound kind of awful.
But they're still really fun, like very freeing. We went down this huge elevator in the station, and then this day we had 2 assignments in Bergen. We had to go to the world's longest tunnel,
Fyllingsdal's Tunnel.
Fyllingsdal's Tunnel, the world's longest bike tunnel, and then we had to go to this rain garden in this neighborhood. So I drew the rain garden right here and wrote about it, and then drew the tunnel right here. In the tunnel, every now and then there'll be a different it was all like kind of art in there, and then there's like each section was a different season. So there's like a spring season, winter, and then the middle's kind of just like all of them, and then autumn and summer. Then this was just by the lake. In the middle of Bergen is this huge hexagon lake that has a big fountain in the middle. So I just sat here and kind of drew the tulips, and then this behind it. And there is the view from the top of the mountain that we were at. There's a huge mountain, then us, and then we're on top of the big mountain because Norway's all mountains. So we climbed to the top of the mountain, and then that was even a better view of Bergen. And we took a gondola, is that called?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's right there. We took a gondola up, and that same day I went to this church, which is like an old wooden church, completely made of dark oak wood, like Viking church. And then I went to Edward Grieg, who is the
Yeah, I was gonna say, I recognize his name. Yeah.
That guy, he's from Bergen, and I went to his house, and he had this little he had his main house, and then a little pathway down right onto this lake, and he had this like work table with a view out onto the lake, and I took a picture. It's just awesome. And then this was like you could walk all the way down onto the lake, onto this kind of like pier, like rocks, and then you can walk out onto that. So I did, and I think that's just a church I saw that day. Then Bergen reflection, and then so every city ends with a reflection, and I started doing this because we had to do them for class, and then a map, and I've not done the maps yet because I was like, well, I can just do that when I get home. I'm not gonna get all behind and do all the maps. So one down.
All right.
I went to 22 cities, if you were wondering. Next is Oslo. This was the train ride from Bergen to Oslo. Obviously, just the beautiful Norwegian countryside. Once we got to Oslo, we went and played some pool and did karaoke, which was really fun. Our first full day in Oslo was Constitution Day, Norway Day.
Oh, wow.
And that's like such a bucket list thing to do, like foreign country national holiday. Like it's just so much fun. So all day, just like buildings all dressed up with Norwegian stuff. This is the parade going down the hill. Some soldiers there standing in front of, I don't know what that. Then we went and I'll tell all these stories in more depth later. By the way, like I just want to do a little flip through, kind of tell you what I did. But there was cannons. We saw the 21 gun salute, which was awesome. Okay. Here's the palace with like statues and stuff. The king and queen and the royal family were up there. Got a selfie with the king. And then this was the city hall, which was having its 75th anniversary, and a bunch of battleships. And then we went and watched the finale of Eurovision, which was going on that same day. Yeah. And Norway went first. The Norway singer went first, so we were in Norway and we got all hype watching the Norway guy. Next day, we went to the library in Norway, which is the library with the Future Library, which is this thing where once a year they get a chosen author to write something for the library and they put it in the vault. And it's all of the pieces will be released in 100 years, or it's like
we gotta
86 years now because they started 14 years ago. And then that is the Opera House, which is really beautiful, right on the water. And then this is this neighborhood that we went through that was just gorgeous with saunas right on the water, like floating saunas. And I went to one, and like you get super hot, and then you go up onto the roof, and then you jump into the Baltic Sea, and then you get, or the North Sea, and then you get super hot again, and then you jump, and you just do that over and over. So that was like I think I set the sauna night guy. Like
you said.
Next day we went to this was meeting the person who did the Bergen ? Thing and Future Library stuff. There's the Future Library. It's just this little nook in the and you just kind of like walk in. It's like designed like a beehive kind of. And then we went to this person's house. It's like a completely sustainable house that it's kind of hard to describe, but
like it's just self-sustaining.
Yeah, it's just like they built their own house out of wood, and it's crazy, and he's an architect, so it's just the nicest house you've ever seen. And then went to and then I went on I saw Lock Bridge, a Locket Bridge.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know where we have one of those in town? It's not a whole bridge, but we have a little Locket place. It's just like at Uptown. And I walked by it the other day. I'm
like
sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, no, it's not on fences. They have like a little thing that's like, I guess, meant for it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just like, bro, who's gonna be like confessing? Like, who's gonna be doing this at Uptown? Like, I don't know.
The mall.
Sorry to interrupt, but it just reminded me of that.
Next day, we were leaving Oslo this day, and we just went to we just got on scooters, a couple of us, and went to this sustainable. It's a sustainability field school, if you didn't catch that. And we went to this like greenhouse, totally just like gardens that were at the foot of these ventilation towers for the metro, and they just like built all this around it, which is really cool. Also a reflection. Stockholm, there's the trip to Stockholm, just like lakes and stuff. And when we got there, Team Canada were playing Team Sweden in Stockholm. And if we had gotten there like 2 hours earlier, we could have gone to the game.
That would have been so cool.
But we watched it in a bar with a bunch of Swedes, and they won 5-2, and we were all getting hyped. The whole squad pulled up, and we were just like, Canadians took over the bar, and the Swedes were like, "What is going on? Like, why?" Next day, had some food, and then took a metro ride to this neighborhood. Just a really cool view of this church up the hill, and then descriptions. Like, this is just a lot of school stuff. That's why there's more pictures later, because it's less just writing about school stuff. That's just Stockholm Old Town, with the palace, the church where they get married, the big statues and stuff. There's the throne. I walked into the palace and like walked up the stairs, and they were just closing, and I turned the corner, and then boom, just the throne's like all the way down the hall. It's like, oh shit. I think that's the Parliament buildings, and then here's a little map of the walk I took. It took like 6 hours, and it was a crazy distance. Next day, this was just a church we went to, and oh yeah, I got sushi, and we went to the university. We went to the, Stockholm University and had a meeting there. And then we went to this island that's off the, well, it's all islands. Stockholm is just a bunch of islands. But we went to this island that's like all gardens. Then day after that, we went to this, the Royal Harbor City, which is kind of a new development. They're taking down this old like gas works plant and building new stuff there. And then I went to the church, these two churches, and this is the one where they bury the Swedish royal family. So there are all the royal. There's one of the.
They just got them in cardboard boxes there.
Yeah, they've got them in cardboard boxes, and it's all. There's 2 Oscars in there, and I have a friend Oscar who's half Swedish. And then I went to the Vasa Museum, which is the big, enormous boat, which was like the biggest in the world at the time, that sank on its maiden voyage in the Swedish harbor, which is like a famous story of just like the world.
Yeah.
Build a huge fucking boat, and it's just too big, and it just sinks right away. So I went to that museum. Copenhagen, there's the bridge that goes all the way from Malmo to Copenhagen across the Baltic Sea. Then that City Hall, we were staying... I think there's a drawing of the view later, but just this, we had this beautiful view of Copenhagen because we stayed in this huge hostel that was just like a hotel, just tower. So we had a great view. And then I went to a park. And then on our first night in Copenhagen, me and my boy Thomas, we went to, and like 4 of us, we went to a rave in a tunnel. Underneath the highway in Copenhagen, and that was my first rave. So my one and only at this point, my one and only rave is a underground in a tunnel in an outskirt of Copenhagen.
That's awesome.
Next day, this is just downtown Copenhagen. That's the library, and that's the architecture museum. We found trampolines just like on the harbor, so we all just started jumping on trampolines. And then we got our bikes. Just now, when I biked to your place, my bike felt so weird. Number 1, because I didn't pump up the bike tires. But number 2, because I've been riding on like different bikes for the last while. But we got bikes, and then I went to the architecture museum, and then the palace. All the countries we started by going to all still have monarchies, so it was like a lot of palaces and stuff like that. Then there's us biking. We did what is it called? Bike Without Age or something like that. Cycling Without Age, and it's just where you can volunteer and you ride a rickshaw, I think they're called. Yeah. And it's just, you get 2 old people in the back and then you bike them around. And I'm totally, awesome. I think I'm totally gonna do it sometime because it's really fun. This was just like in the harbor. This is a top-down view of this wooden path that you can walk along in the harbor. Then we had by far the worst presentation. She was so dry and just this old woman, like, I don't know. But I drew a little something for you here. And then we went and played volleyball in the harbor in Copenhagen with a bunch of Spaniards. We just went there. One of the guys in the field school, Aiden, plays volleyball at UVic, and he was like, "Let's go play volleyball," because I saw him court. And we go there, and it's just a bunch of Spaniards, and we just play with them for a while. And I got good. I'm not good at volleyball, but I was like, I got on a crazy 6-game win streak.
Damn. Okay.
And actually started putting.
It's all that
work.
Deca Sports coming
exactly.
in. Yeah.
And then the Wii motion control really helped me out. And then we jumped in the harbor. Because you can. It's very open. Then I think it's our last day at Copenhagen. We went to this little neighborhood, and then we went to the top of this building that had a playground on top of it, and you can see really far. And then so there's me in the red, and then that's Thomas. That is Cyrus, who I became really good friends with later on, and then that's Quinn.
Yo,
a girl named Quinn. But this is like a real picture, and then I drew it. Then I took a solo trip because I loved the the church in Copenhagen that has all the monarchs. I was like, I want to do that in Denmark, because Denmark, all the Norwegian kings were just the Danish kings. Like, Denmark controlled all of Scandinavia for a lot of history. So I was like, I want to go see the Denmark royal family burial, but it's outside of Copenhagen. So I had to take a train to Roskilde. So I did that. There's the church, and then here's a bunch of the sarcophagi. Then we got back and we went out for a night out on the town, which was so much fun. And the bar had N64 Mario Kart 4-player, which was a fucking blast. And I smoked everybody. So not our final day in Copenhagen. We went to the museum. The museum had a bunch of old stuff, really cool. And then we kind of just talked. We kind of just reflected. This is a hilarious story I'll tell later about food. And then we went to this park. Kind of talked to a guy there. Then amusement park. We were staying right next to an amusement park. So this is the view from our hostel. You can see City Hall, the sun setting there, and then this is all an amusement park. So I'll tell some stories about that later. But we went on an amusement park, and that was really fun. That's Copenhagen. On to Lübeck. So this is a small town about 30 minutes outside of Hamburg, maybe more, maybe like 45. And Hamburg was like the capital of West Germany before they united and made it Berlin. So Hamburg's huge. And I'm so happy we didn't stay there. A lot of farms and stuff. We played Switch on the way. Then did this is a funny story. We were doing our orientation outside this big gate that used to be the gate of the city. And we were all so tired and so hungry. And the group that was... because I was the Munster group, which is the next city we visited, the Lübeck group. It was 4 girls, and they spent so long talking about nothing, and we all just want to go eat. And then right as they're finishing up, this group of 5 drunk Germans walk by.
Yeah.
And one of them is so red, just tomato red. And and I just start dying, like I'm crying, crying, laughing, just trying to hold it, because it's we're all trying to be silent while they do their presentation. Then here comes this tomato face, and I'm just crying, laughing, and people are like, Salvy, what's wrong with you? Chill, why are you? But I just could not handle it. And then we saw some live music. And then Lübeck is famous. It's called the City of 7 Spires because they have 7 huge churches. I can't even describe. They're just made of brick. It's enormous. So there's one of them. Then we went to Hamburg. We went to Hafen City, which is this new neighborhood. There's this cool black tower there. Here's a sticker. We did an art tour. Where this Australian guy took us around to see all the graffiti, because Germany's famous for the graffiti.
Yeah. Is that art? That looks more like a kebab.
Yeah, no, that's art. It's this little character shaving a kebab. And, and she was everywhere. Then here's a tower, and then we went to the Reeperbahn, which is the red light district, the infamous red light district. So, sex shops and strip clubs and regular clubs, and we got a little bit of all of them. Then back in Lübeck, we just had a chill day. I went to a park and stuff, and then the Champions League final was that day, and then we kind of just walked around the city at night. I can expand on those stories later, but there's the reflection for both. So here's Munster. This is my city, the one that I had to do a presentation for and stuff. We got bikes there, then we did our orientation overlooking the lake with some boats. Then we went and got food, and then one thing I forgot to mention, when we got to Lübeck, we're now in a country where weed is legal. So the first 2.5 weeks, which was in Scandinavia, we were all getting to know each other and kind of settling in. By the time we got to Germany, we were just one big family now, just a family of 24 people, and we suddenly had access to weed, and we could drink because beer just kept getting cheaper and cheaper as we traveled. Yeah. So Germany was so much fun because it was just we all are friends now. We have cheap beer and we have weed. So it's just all our dreams were met by the time we got to Germany. So I would say we were in Germany for 11 days, and I think we smoked on 7 of them. different size groups every time, but we had some like huge, like 15 of us all hanging out, smoking and stuff. And I can tell more stories about that later. The next day we went to the university in Munster, learned a lot about that. And then the next day we learned more about the city. It's got some crazy lore. And then I went for a bike ride around the whole lake, saw some horses, and then there was this like dock that's like out in the middle of the lake, and that's where we like kind of had our last big smoke sesh with like the whole squad. So Munster was really fun. And then last city, Freiburg. There was a ladybug on the window of my train when we were going there. Freiburg is just beautiful buildings there, and then we went up onto the mountain that's in the middle of the city to kind of overlook it on the first day. This section is probably the funniest story of the whole trip, and I'll save that. It's got to do with chocolate milk and strawberry, though. And then we went and kind of just like learned more about the systems of the city, like why it's so windy there.
Right.
Freiburg is right against the Black Forest, which is what Black Forest ham and Black Forest cake is named after.
I love those.
Kebab. We ate so many kebabs. Kebab and doner. That's like, we need Turkish immigrants, bro. That's what I'm.
I love
that's what I'm
kebab
saying.
and doner.
I know. We need more kebab and doner. Then this was more Freiburg. That's just a great view of the city we got from a rooftop. And then this is the end of the field school. I walked into a church and they were just doing an organ concert, so I sat in on an organ concert. And then we went out on Saturday night, which was great. And then Sunday night was our final day, and we all took a picture in this like canal area. And then Cam, the teacher, we were all sitting in this kind of like carpeted area in the hostel, and Cam was like playing his guitar and stuff. And that was the end of the field school. So I'm gonna write about the field school here. And again, so that's like reflection, and that'll be the map. I'm also gonna like draw a little like, I'm gonna draw everybody just like a little tiny version of their face, kind of.
It was what, 24 total, including you?
Yeah. With the TA. I guess at times 26, I guess, including the TA. So that was the field school. So now we're on to me by myself. So first stop was Zurich in Switzerland, and just beautiful city. You could see the Alps from the city, huge lake. And I just walked around Zurich for like 5 hours. And then the train ride through the Alps was just incredible. And I got to Milan. I get out of the metro in Milan, and I'm right in front of the cathedral in Milan, which I had no idea I was going to do that. And I just step out, and there it is. I'm like walking up the steps. I'm like, no fucking way. And then it took me, going back a little bit, getting off the train in Milan, it took me 20 minutes just to get off the platform, because it was just like 2 trains got out at the same time. Everyone's trying to get in, everyone's trying to get out, just crush. But then went to Milan, and then that's where the Olympics are in Milan, the Winter Olympics, kind of in the Alps region near Milan, in February. So they had like a bunch of Olympic stuff up. So that's what that is. I also went to Tokyo the summer before they had the Summer Olympics there. So multiple times in my life I've gone to a city and it's like, we have the Olympics coming. It's like, oh, cool. I won't be good luck.
Yeah,
like that's awesome. And then this is this huge archway, like it's just enormous, and it's a shopping center, and there's a lot of those in Italy actually. Next day, went to some ruins. Got to see this beautiful park in Milan. Then went to a natural history museum, and there was this model of a walrus or like seal, and he's going, oh, and it's just really funny. I sent you a bunch of when I was in there. I sent people. I was sending some snaps of some funny animals. And then walked through on my way to the train station. Walked through like downtown Milan. It's like skyscrapers and stuff. On to Venice. Got to Venice, and I mean, you know what Venice is. Crazy cathedrals and stuff, the gondolas. Just drew a bunch of it here, the bridges. A lot of the drawings I am going to touch up, like because like some of them are pretty light. Because what I would do is I'd draw all the pictures first and then do the writing. So I might like touch up some of the images because they're a little light. I had wine and pasta right next to the canal and stuff. Then saw the sunset. Then Bologna. I was there for probably like 6 or 7 hours. Went through a park. Walked into the city hall. And then I just like kind of wandered into the council room because it was just open.
I think you sent me a snap.
I sent you a snap
well.
of that too because I was like, "What the fuck? Like, how'd I get here?" Some cool churches and stuff. Then went on top of City Hall, and Bologna is all like these tall brick towers because that's like the lore of the city. Is like instead of who had the like back in the day, instead of like who had the biggest yacht, it was who had the tallest tower.
Right.
So they would just build enormous, tall, skinny towers. Like mine's taller than yours, and like not all of them are still around, but a lot of them are.
The lore.
Here's the reflections for all those cities because I kind of just like couldn't keep up, and then did them all on my page. Then we get to Rome. My first day in Rome, I get there in the nighttime, like 10 o'clock, and my bus just goes past the Colosseum, like just casually. Just like, and I'm like, wow, that's the Colosseum. Like, next day, took a walk through. On this day, the Chill Hop Essentials Summer 2025 playlist came out. So like, I'm listening to it for the first time, going on a walk through Rome, and I'm like, this is the best. Like, I'm living. Went to the Colosseum, took the tour through the Colosseum, went to the Roman Forum, saw Julius Caesar's grave, and then went to the Pantheon, which was probably my favorite because it's like old but still from the same time period and all maintained. Like it still looks the same. Went to some of the cool fountains, and then went to the huge monument to the first for the unification of Italy, which was just incredible. Next day, woke up at like 5 a.m. to go to Pompeii. It was like taxi to the train station, or taxi to the bus station, bus to Naples, bus to Pompeii, take a train back to Naples. Like it was crazy, but Pompeii, totally worth it, really cool. And then Naples, this was the first time I went into a palace that was like I mentioned going to palaces, but I was just outside. This one is like, there's no one's living there anymore, so it's just you walk on in, huge staircases, the throne, this like just like the most bedazzled room ever. I think I sent you a snap from one of them. It was like new crib.
Yeah, I think so.
Naples was just crazy. Vatican City. I wrote this in yellow because that's the color of the Vatican, and it also means you need the light to see it.
Yeah,
to actually
it's
read
a little
it.
difficult to read.
You need like the godly light to read it. But what if you like put a light on it, you can read it pretty easily. But yeah, the Vatican, St. Paul's, saw the Pope. So I saw some kings, saw the Pope.
You sent me that too.
Yeah, because I went on a Sunday, and then going into St. Paul's, seeing all the statues of past popes. And this is just later that day, going through Rome, visiting fortresses, going to some statues.
How's that?
This?
Yeah.
That's the Rome wolf with the Romulus and Remus suckling from it. So saw a lot of art there, and then went to like an overlook because I was staying on one of the hills. So I went to like an overlook of the city at night. And then the next day, my last day in Rome, I walked over all 7 hills of Rome. I did a walk around the whole thing. And went to a bunch more ruins and saw the mausoleum of Augustus and where the president lives. I almost just like walked into the White House of Italy, like, because I thought it was a tourist attraction because it was like on the map. And then I was like, I go to walk in, there's like a guard with a gun. I'm like, maybe what is this? Oh, the president lives here. Okay, sorry, my bad. And then so that's Rome. Florence, which was beautiful. All the Renaissance artwork. This was the first day in Florence, and I just got there in the evening, and I went up to like this big viewpoint that overlooks the city, watched the sunset, and then the next day, kind of like walk around. The Medici family was the family that kind of ruled it forever, and I went to their like the crypts and their cathedral and stuff. There's the classic famous one. the cathedral in Florence. Lots of like bridges with like buildings and shops on them. Went to the palace, and then that's like the inside of the dome, which is fucking crazy. And then I've got a story here for later. That's Florence, and then we get to Nice in France. Went past Monaco, and then just walking up Nice, crazy views.
Yeah,
this
beach.
Yeah,
I lost my sunglasses at that beach.
Yeah,
It's
too bad. And then we get to where I'm at right now. So this is Marseille. So this was 1 week ago from today, and I've drawn all the pictures here so we can just look at them. Fortress, and then going up to all the boats. The Marseille docks can fit 3,500 boats. And then went to this little palace and the beach and some churches up on the hill, and then it overlooks the whole city. And then walked all the way down and saw where I was, and I'm like, oh my god, I've walked so much. And then from here we got Barcelona, we've got Madrid, and Lisbon. And then I have a lot of extra pages. So, here's a sticker from my beer when I was watching the Champions League final.
Hey, nice.
Which is kind of cool. And then in here, I've just got some like keepsakes. That is it. But in those final pages, I've got a few more ideas of what to do. I'm gonna do a flight home and the final map, kind of like I did at the beginning.
Yep.
So like a mirror of that in the back. And then I will do kind of like city reviews, or like what my favorite moment was from each city, kind of give it a rating, or like the hype level, what the pre and post hype.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my loadout. I'm going to draw like all the shirts and socks and underwear and like my hat and the drum me and like...
How big of a bag did you bring?
Pretty big, just a big backpack.
Big backpack? Okay.
Huge travel backpack that can like split into 2 bags.
Right.
And then I'm going to do kind of like a final reflection, and then I'm also going to do weather, what the weather was each day, because that was not something I kind of kept track of, but I want to write kind of like what the weather was each day, how hot it was, because it was fucking hot.
I believe it.
It was hot. It was like 35, 38 in Rome some of the days. And then I wanted to write how like the travel, the distance of each, like,
right,
because there's days where I did a ton of train, ton of walking, ton of busing, and I want to kind of write all that. But so I'll keep working on it for the rest of the summer, and obviously I want to do all the maps as well. So my plan is I go to Seattle in 2.5 weeks, just for the weekend.
You're leaving me again.
Just for the weekend. And I go to Seattle, and I want to have like the end of it done, and then I can kind of work on the maps for the rest of the summer.
Mm-hmm. Well, what you have already is...
I know,
it's really awesome. Like, that's such a cool project. I'm glad you did something like that.
I'm really glad I did too. I had a vision for it, and I knew I could do it, and I am doing it. So, and that's going to be one of my prized possessions for my entire life, will be this book. But that was my Europe trip. I know, like, the end of it, Barcelona, Marseille. Basically, in Marseille, I got sick. After my full day in Marseille, I got sick that night. So that in Barcelona, the first 2 days in Barcelona, I was just sick.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I went to the Sagrada Familia, the huge church, on the second one of those days. I went to Mass in the morning. And then traveled around Barcelona my final day there, and then did a few hours in Madrid to get to Lisbon, and then I did 1 full day in Lisbon. So really all you're missing from that is like Sagrada Familia day, 1 day in Barcelona, 2 hours in Madrid, 1 day in Lisbon. Like that's all that's missing from that. So so you guys just got to see 42 of the 47 days of my trip. And I'll keep working on it, but so there you go. That was a flip through of my journal, and Salvy's back. Get hyped for videos for the rest of Salvy Quid summer. We'll start Pokemon again. It's not like you guys.
It doesn't change anything. Well, I guess, do we look different?
Yeah, we do look different.
We didn't do a face cam at the last. No, I guess we did for the drums.
Yeah, there's face cam recently. Yeah. No, I was clean shaven because I left clean shaven.
Right. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And both of our hair is
definitely longer for sure.
But yeah, it's been 6.5 weeks, 47 days. So probably like 49 days since we last recorded.
It's good to be back, man.
It's good to be back. Thanks for watching, everybody. It was a great trip, but I'm so fucking happy. We are so back. I will see you the next one. I'm okay, what's up? Goodbye.